Remember the 1992 film South Central? It was about escaping gangs, prison walls, and the bloody underworld of the streets. But the danger lingered long after the film ended. While many of the actors went their separate ways, one of them became embroiled in a tragedy even darker than his character. Years later, his name resurfaces again, this time in connection with a death sentence. Join us as we uncover his true identity and the horrifying truth behind it. Carl Lumbly plays Ali, an experienced and wise inmate who helps a young man on his journey to redemption at South Central Prison in 1992. At 41, he embodies the moral pillar of the film, not the voice of violence. His acting is restrained, conveying more deliberation than anger. Carl Winston Lumbly, born on August 14, 1951 in Minneapolis, Minnesota, shaped his career more through resistance than opportunity. Marked by unemployment, constant moves, and significant financial difficulties, recognition came slowly, often after several attempts. This protracted struggle was further complicated by personal losses. Lumbly's marriage to actress Vanetta McGee ended in tragedy in 2000, when she died of cancer. This loss permanently changed Lumbly's emotional life. His subsequent marriage to Deborah Santana ended in divorce in 2019 due to his demanding schedule and emotional distance. Over the years, circulatory problems required regular medical checkups and further exacerbated his physical frailty after decades of grief. Carl Lumbly, now 74 years old, is still active in film, television, and voice acting, and has taken on prominent roles in popular series. His net worth is estimated to be around $3 million, and he has amassed it through perseverance. Glenn Plummer Bobby Johnsonina. In 1992, Glenn Plummer played the lead role of Bobby Johnson, a notorious former gang leader seeking redemption in South Central Manhattan. The then 31-year-old actor played a desperate father whose sole goal was to stop his son from committing further crimes. This role defined his entire career. Glenn E. Plummer was born on August 18, 1961 in Richmond, California. He arrived in Hollywood with high expectations, but was soon confronted with harsh realities. After his success in South Central, he impressed with roles in films such as Menace to Society, Speed, and Showgirls. However, the film industry increasingly restricted his career, and he was later relegated to supporting roles rather than leading roles that would have suited his talents. The racism of the 1990s damaged his career, leading to long periods of instability, financial hardship, and a growing sense of being forgotten in the industry he had helped shape. As professional pressures mounted, his personal life deteriorated. His marriage to DeMonica Santiago crumbled under the strain of precarious employment, constant travel, and mental exhaustion, culminating in their divorce in 2014. Around the same time, Plummer was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, which required strict discipline and daily care, adding to the stress at a time when stability seemed unattainable. Today, Glenn Plummer is 64 years old and continues to work steadily in film and television. He values perseverance more than fame. His estimated net worth, about $2 million, amassed over decades in supporting roles and independent projects, reflects a career he built himself, not one he celebrates. Lexi Begum gave a brilliant performance in the 1992 film Bear, in which she played a brutal gang member in the south of England. At just 24 years old, she brought to life a cruel, blindly loyal, and deadly impulsive young woman. The role revealed her enormous potential, as if her career were on the verge of a breakthrough. Lexi Darnell Begum Jr. was born on August 4, 1968 in Illinois and began her career in Hollywood at a time when competition for young black actors was fierce and ruthless. After her starring role in the 1991 cult classic Boys in the Hood, and expectations skyrocketed, but opportunities were slow to materialize. She continued her efforts in films such as Dave, 1993, and Freeway, 1994, taking on any role she could find to stay relevant. Even as bigger names began to dominate the industry she was trying to break into. As his resume grew, so did the pressure. Begum landed a role in the 1995 film C7N, which became a modern classic, worked on projects like Outbreak-era television, and played supporting roles in films that showcased his potential. However, the film industry was changing faster than he could establish himself. Auditions replaced financial security, temporary jobs replaced long-term plans, and the pressure to prove one's worth before time ran out became a constant burden. Tragically, Lexi Bigham died in a car accident in Los Angeles on December 17, 1995, at the age of 27. Her net worth was estimated at approximately $200,000 at the time of her death, a painful reminder of how short her life was. His career did not end in failure, but in a rupture that left behind a future that never had a chance to come true. Ivory Ocean played Willie Manchester, a wild-headed gunslinger whose single shot extinguished his father's last hope in the 1992 film South Central. At the age of 44, he took on the role, which lasted only a few seconds, but left a deep mark. This violent moment subtly reflected the instability of his life off the screen. He was born Ivory Jean Oceanseven on June 1946 in Manchester, England. He came to American film from the theater, believing that discipline would open doors. Instead, he was sidelined in Hollywood and relegated to supporting roles. Although he starred in major projects such as The Mask, 1009, 194, and The Walking Dead, 1995, he failed to consistently land leading roles, and his career oscillated between fame and obscurity. Over the years, Ocean remained active, albeit sporadically, and took on ambitious projects such as The Fifth Element, 1997, and later Lost Highway. But his career remained uncertain. Each new project offered a brief glimmer of hope, only to be followed by financial difficulties and professional disappointments as he was replaced by younger actors in an industry that rarely forgives age. The pressure increased as his health problems worsened. Heart disease and obesity gradually weakened his body. Tragically, Ivory Ocean died suddenly of heart complications on December 29, 2011, at the age of 65. His estate was estimated at approximately $500,000 at the time of his death, a small sum considering decades of precarious work. Vicklin Reynolds plays Willie's wife. Willie's wife, a silent witness to the violence in southern England in 1992 and its aftermath, was played by Vicklin Reynolds. At 37, she embodied a character torn between fear, loyalty, and helplessness. Her presence provided the backdrop for some of the film's most brutal moments. Vicklin Reynolds was born on June 2, 1955 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She began her career in the entertainment industry with a solid background in theater and music. However, her transition to film was not smooth. After early roles in the films Crossing Delancey and I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, she landed smaller roles that audiences barely remembered. Although she gained widespread recognition for her role as Smokey's mother in the film Friday, 1995, and her role on the CBS series Sugar and Spice, 1995, lasting fame in Hollywood eluded her. She was forced to balance acting, music, and theater to secure her artistic career and livelihood. As film offers dwindled, Reynolds focused on theater, appearing in plays such as Smokey Joe's Cafe and the popular Bring In Da Noise, Bring In Da Funk. The lack of success in the film industry put pressure on her career, which led her to write and compose her own music. This led to Hattie McDaniel's musical What I Need You to Know, a deeply personal work that she wrote, starred in, and toured the United States for nearly a decade. At the age of 70, Vicklin Reynolds is still appreciated for her versatility on stage, screen, and in music. His net worth is estimated to be around $800,000, which he has amassed through decades of perseverance, not so much fame. His career is a quiet story of perseverance. Starletta Dupois plays Nurse Shelley. Starletta Dupois plays Nurse Shelley, a compassionate hospital nurse who quietly expresses her kindness in the 1992 film South Central. At 51, she maintained the film's emotional balance by putting restraint and empathy ahead of melodrama. Her performance reminded audiences that tenderness is possible even after traumatic events. Starletta Dupois was born on July 18, 1941 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and carved out a career in an industry that systematically disadvantaged women, especially black women, as they aged. Despite his academic training and exceptional talent, Hollywood offered him only supporting roles, forcing him to constantly move between theater and film to maintain his career. Appearances in films such as Waiting to Come, 1995, Friday Afternoon, 1996, Next, 1997, and later The Notebook, 1998, brought him recognition. But financial difficulties marked the early and middle stages of his career. Theater was both a space for self-expression and a refuge. Dupuis was nominated for a Tony Award for his performance in The Mighty Gents, and was critically acclaimed for his roles in A Raisin in the Sun, Fences, King Hedley II, and The Piano Lesson. However, fame did not bring him stability. His early divorce coincided with a volatile career, and the physical demands of acting increased with age. Over time, degenerative joint and bone problems caused chronic pain in her already demanding career, forcing her to make constant adjustments without compromising productivity. Now 84, Starletta Dupuis is considered a veteran actress, mentor, and important bridge between the stage and the screen. Her net worth is estimated at around $1.5 million, amassed over 5 decades of hard work. Kevin Best as Spirit, the aggressive antagonist who ignited the conflict in south-central Nigeria in 1992, is played by Kevin Best. The 33-year-old actor's expressive and confrontational personality underscores the film's sense of constant menace. His character tends to escalate violence, not resolve it. Kevin Best entered the film industry with high expectations, but was unable to establish himself outside of action roles. After appearing in the series Teen Witch in 1989, he continued to work regularly in film and television, appearing as a guest star on the series Hunter and South Central. However, none of these projects proved innovative, and his career stalled in the mid to late 19th century. For years, Best remained active, albeit on a limited basis, repeatedly taking on supporting roles that offered little opportunity for advancement or recognition. The lack of significant career opportunities led to constant stress, and forced him to accept smaller projects to make ends meet. His professional career continued, but his status remained uncertain, leading to a long period of quiet uncertainty that defined the nature of his career. Kevin Best, now 66, continues to live out of the public eye and has rarely appeared on screen in recent years. His estimated net worth, around $400,000, reflects a fairly modest career marked by perseverance, frustration, and roles in which he rarely landed supporting roles. Loretta Shelby plays Carol Carroll, a grieving mother trying to hold her family together in south-central New York in 1992. At 26, she carries the emotional burden of motherhood between fear and survival. Her performance reflects the silent wounds left by street violence. Loretta Jazzy. Rita Shelby was born on March 1, 1991 in Nashville, Tennessee. She came to Hollywood with a strong education and clear artistic goals. While these roles kept him in the spotlight, they were erratic and did not provide lasting success or stability. Each role represented a new beginning rather than an advancement, forcing him to constantly reinvent himself in an industry that rarely invests in stability. As the supply of acting work dwindled, Shelby made a strategic shift and focused instead on storytelling and directing. She gained media exposure through the U.S. Army television program The Loretta Shelby Show, which aired in 57 countries and received significant attention during the Gulf War. Using this platform, she reached audiences outside of Hollywood and demonstrated her adaptability and resilience. In addition to her media work, she participated in projects such as the film Black Sheep, 1996, and increasingly devoted herself to screenwriting, producing, and teaching, a steady expansion of her career. Loretta Shelby, now 59, remains active as an actress, media professional, and drama teacher, working with at-risk youth. Her estimated net worth of approximately $500,000, earned from her work as an actress, media, and content creator, reflects a career defined not by fame, but by perseverance, personal growth, and quiet influence. In his 1992 performance as Buddha, the ruthless leader of an Aryan gang who wields supreme power at South Central Prison, Tim DeZarn embodies a character whose power is not based on words but on deliberate threats and control. His presence highlights how prisons breed a different kind of violence. Timothy Joseph DeZarn was born on July 11, 1952, in Cincinnati, Ohio. He arrived in Hollywood later than most actors, beginning his career in his 20s with no guarantees of a future. This late start, combined with his striking appearance, quickly limited his career to a limited number of villainous roles. Despite appearances in acclaimed films such as Demon Knight, 1995, Fight Club, 1999, and later Spider-Man 2002, in which he played Mary Jane Watson's father, the film industry rarely allowed him to capitalize on these successes creatively. He worked steadily but avoided promotions, so his career was based more on persistence than career advancement. Over time, television became his main, if volatile, vehicle for fame. Desarn alternated between demanding roles on series such as Deadwood, Prison Break, The Shield, and Sons of Anarchy, consistently portraying authoritarian heroes, militia leaders, and hardened criminals. The monotonous nature of the job limited his professional identity and strained his income. This pressure became overwhelming in 2007 when his 18-year-old son Travis died in a car accident. The loss plunged Desarn into deep grief and depression. Over the years, chronic joint problems further limited his physical endurance, which was essential for demanding tasks, and quietly diminished his career prospects. In 2025, 73-year-old Tim Desarn is no longer working in the film and television industry on a limited basis. His net worth is estimated at around $1 million, amassed through decades of steady, albeit limited, work. His career has been marked by personal tragedies and the roles he chooses to play. Byron Mins plays Ray Ray. Byron Mins brings to life Ray Ray, a cunning gang leader who seizes power in south-central Nigeria in 1992 through intimidation. The 31-year-old actor conveys his menace through control and silence, not chaos. His character embodies a power based on fear rather than respect, a fact that subtly influenced his career choices. Byron Keith Mins, born in 1961 in Atlanta, Georgia, began his acting career in Hollywood in the early 1990s, appearing in projects that brought him fame but little stability. After his time at South Central, he continued to work in film and television, while simultaneously pursuing a career as a creative director. He gradually realized that acting alone did not guarantee a lasting career. Smaller roles and independent films helped him stay active. However, irregular income and limited opportunities for advancement led him to view writing more as a livelihood than as a means of personal development. This change involved considerable risks. Mins invested time and money in independent screenplays and productions, which often failed to make a profit and led to long periods of financial uncertainty. However, during these years he also honed his writing skills. His breakthrough came in 2009 with the film Black Dynamite, which he wrote and starred in. The film later became a celebrated classic. Since then, he has worked on projects such as Outlaw Johnny Black and in a variety of genres, establishing himself as a screenwriter in addition to his acting career. He rose slowly and surely to the top, more through perseverance than luck. At 64, Byron Mins continues to work in front of and behind the camera in an industry that rarely rewards patience. His estimated net worth of $1.2 million, earned through acting, writing, and producing, proves that success in Hollywood continues to be redefined long after the spotlight has faded.